Wow, that was quick. What happened? That was really quick. Okay, where's the disclaimer? Let's read through the disclaimer so we get going. Okay, the opinions of the host, guests, and any callers, and anyone in comments are not representative of the opinion of Mr. Singer's employer, or anyone associated with Gloves Off. Hello, everybody, and welcome to Gloves Off. Today, I have with me Mr. Bob Buzzelli. His birthday was this week. We want to wish him a happy birthday.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
He is. Thank you. What are you, Elvis? There we go. Thank you very much. Maybe it should be Mr. Elvis Presley, but Bob's here to talk about Palmetto Bay. He is a active resident in Palmetto Bay. We weren't going to have a guest this week, but I kind of had somebody talk Bob into coming in and talking to us about some of the subjects that he's very interested in. So he's going to be with us for about 45 minutes, and then we're going to get into some Palmetto Bay stuff that I don't think he wants to really listen to. So how you doing?
I'm doing great. In fact, I'm sure people are looking at me and wondering, why do you have that collar on? Well, no, I wasn't in a car accident. I had a freak accident home, fell in my own driveway, broke my neck, C1, C2, fractured in 3 places. And when I fell, I heard the bones crack and I felt the pain and I knew I was hurt. But as a friend of mine likes to say, God smiled on me. I wasn't a quadriplegic and I wasn't dead. I was able to get up and go to the hospital where they put me back together with a bunch of nuts and bolts.
Well,
so a little while longer, I'll wear this collar and then I'll be off. But that's what happened.
We will try to make this interview a little less painful than your slip and fall. That's for sure. So you have an agenda, which is great because I wasn't 100% sure what to talk to you about or what was on limits or off limits. So let's get to it. Oh, by the way, anybody who's watching, as long as we're live, you can send us any questions that you have or comments, and we'll read them off, and either I or Bob will answer them. So if you have any questions for Bob, you're more than welcome to send him a question. If you have any questions for me, I'll see if I want to decide to answer. So here we go.
Okay. When I got asked to be on the show, I had to think about what I wanted to talk about. So first off, I want to talk about Commissioner Daniel Cohen Higgins. I met her prior to her running for office and was impressed with her. But we had this election and she won it outright. And I don't know that the village has taken time to congratulate her on that win, but I think they should. Now, what's interesting is that she won every precinct in the village of Palmetto Bay, including the 87th Avenue corridor of the anti-bridge stronghold, which clearly shows that you can now be pro-bridge in the village of Palmetto Bay and still get elected. I think that's a wonderful thing. And being pro-bridge is no longer a liability. It has become an asset. And I think with that, I think it's time for our village to stop sticking its finger in the county's eye, to start mending fences with them, to get back in their good graces. And a way they could start would be to withdraw the lawsuit that's against the bridge, which Palmetto Bay is involved with, which should have been just 2 citizens. And the other thing is they should withdraw the lawsuit about the 174th Street and 87th Avenue traffic circle that's been out there for 3 years. That traffic circle is important. It would keep traffic flowing on 87th Avenue and help people get to and from work more easily. Now,
so let's talk about those 2 things. So far, the village, in its infinite wisdom, has done nothing but fight the bridge. Okay, because and I understand why they're doing it. Or I understand people being upset about it, but the fact of the matter is the bridge. And everybody knows I used to be against the bridge before I was for the bridge, and I did a flip-flop because of obvious reasons. Because I heard that like lives could be saved, that somebody who has a heart attack, the bridge slows down the availability of the fire department getting to somebody who's maybe had a heart attack or a child who's in a pool who's drowned and stuff like that. I think they said the bridge would take 2 minutes off there.
Actually, it'll take more than that. I drove from the south side to the north side on a Sunday morning when there was no traffic. People said, oh, it'll only save you a minute. It took me 3 minutes and 45 seconds to drive to the other side of the bridge on a Sunday morning with no traffic. Now, if you have traffic on 168th Street and 87th, it's definitely going to take you longer to get to where you can turn to go over there. So it will make a big difference in transport time or arrival times for fire and
So it's
Right.
fighting the bridge is selfish.
Yeah.
Okay. And in all actuality, the village knows that. It's just another one of these political type volleyballs that people have used to help themselves get elected. It affects a certain population that's on 87th Avenue, which I understand. So that's why I've pushed for 2 more bridges on 77th. So you basically just open up all the corridors. I'm sure there's lots of people who want all the corridors opened up, and it would be extremely helpful. And I understand that the problem with the residents on the north side of 87th. I feel bad for them, but listen, when you're talking about saving lives, and this is about saving lives for the most part, or I've turned this into saving lives after I heard the fire department talk about this. I think it's one of the most important things in our community right now.
Now, one thing people have said, it will destroy this neighborhood. We're just moving a problem from one neighborhood to the other. If I thought that, I would be the biggest anti-bridge advocate out there. But I have seen the traffic studies. I've studied the ones, there were 5 or 6. Every one of them has been advocates for building the bridge along with 77th Avenue. In 2004, the traffic study done by Joe Corradino recommended a bridge be built. But like I said, if it would hurt the other neighborhood, I would be against it. But it's not. It's going to help neighborhoods. And will they have more traffic? Yeah, they'll have a little bit more than what they got now, but it will take a lot of traffic off 82nd Avenue too, which those people over there need relief. So we got to look around and do this.
You got to spread the pain, right? You got to spread the pain.
Yeah.
So I mean that's the way to do it. Is there anybody on the council? I know the answer to this, but I'm going to ask you anyway. Is there anybody on the council that is actually for the bridge right now?
No, not that
Okay,
I know of.
so Marcia Matson, who represents District 3.
Correct.
Okay, you would think that she would be for the bridge, and she's not for the bridge. Patrick Ferrari is not for the bridge. Cody, Steve Cody, who originally platformed while he was running for the election that he was for the bridge, has turned out to be against the bridge. Yeah. Who else we got? Oh, Leanne.
Yeah.
Okay, is against the bridge. So all five council members are against the bridge. And believe it or not, when I did a poll, because I ran a poll numbers, 60% of the people in Palmetto Bay were for the bridge.
Well, I think that this election told you who was for the bridge. Because they elected a pro-bridge commissioner. But, I want to talk about Daniel Cohen-Higgins some more. She's done a lot of good work for all of District 8. And when I talked to her, I met her one time, and I talked to her about an issue we were having with our marinas. And she has Black Point is in her district, so she can do things with it. And she listened to what I had to say, and I talked about how we were having problems getting parking and what have you, and the marinas, nothing's been done in 40 years, and we needed to do some upgrades and changes, and we probably need to build 1 or 2 more marinas, and we can do it between Black Point and Homestead. But there are over 75,600 boats registered in Miami-Dade County. The closest county to us is over on the West Coast in Tampa area, and they have 50,000 boats. We have 6 county public marinas, and if you combine the parking for all 6 of those, we have less than 1,000 parking spaces for these 75,000 plus boats. So you can see it's a problem. A lot of people go there, get turned away. We got to do something.
By 9 a.m. in the morning, by the way.
Now, she has added an additional 154 parking places at Black Point, which will make a lot of people happy on the weekends that they and their families are going to make it out on the water.
Let's throw this in, and let's throw some comparisons out. When I was growing up here, I think we had 500,000 people in Dade County. I think that's about right.
It's exploded.
Okay, it's exploded. So you have now, I think, 2.5 million. I'm taking a guess that's what I read in the South Florida area, 2.5 million. And we have not built any new marinas.
No.
Okay.
40 years.
Since I was a kid.
And we haven't done any improvements to the one they have, but they are now. They started with the one up. I think it's the Bill Bird one up at Hallover. They're overhauling it and adding more parking, and they're going to work their way to each one of the marinas and do some improvements.
But what they need to do is they need to contact Durham or whoever is responsible, whoever is in charge of marinas, and take some Dade County land without destroying the eco culture, okay, and put some new marinas in, especially down in Homestead, where the majority of the construction and development is going on right now. Because all those, when you bring in more people into that area, that's going to be more boats.
Correct.
I got so frustrated with the marinas here that I bought a slip in Key Largo, and that's where I keep my boat. Literally, I couldn't get to a marina.
Yeah, let me read this. I just got an email from Daniel Cohen Higgins, Commissioner. I want to read this about
about the bridge?
About the RTZ.
Okay, RTC. So wait, we're skipping all over the place.
Well,
so it's okay. You listen. It's your show, so you go through whatever you want to.
I was just going to say
whichever direction you want to go through.
Talking to her, but she voted against the RTZ because it would harm South Dade, it would harm District 8, and Palmetto Bay. We're going to suffer from it too. But I'll talk more about that. But I want everybody to know that she voted against it, but it would pass 8-3. So she was fighting for her district and to protect us. But let me move on to this next item here that I want to talk about.
By the way, let me throw. I'm going to throw some shade here at a couple of people, and I mentioned this to you already. So there's a group of people in Palmetto Bay, of course, that fought. First, they called her the unelected commissioner, the appointed commissioner, and they used a lot of terms that you probably shouldn't, and that was followed by our mayor, Karyn Cunningham, who did the same thing, unappointed or appointed, unelected, and stuff like that. But now they're reaching out to her and they're trying to make nice. I mean, it's really hypocritical when you sit there and Karyn Cunningham put her own person in to run against Danielle Cohen Higgins. By the way, Danielle Cohen Higgins won by 60%, and that's with two other people on the ballot.
Correct.
So that's pretty damn impressive, right? Okay,
Yeah.
so that's pretty damn impressive in my opinion. But you have Karyn Cunningham, you have Shelley Stanzik, you got Gary Pastorelli. These are the people literally in Palmetto Bay that were throwing shade at her and saying all these nasty things, against her. But now they're reaching out and trying to play nice. And I can see a little of that, but it's really to me it's just really insulting to the commissioner about what they were trying to do.
She's an extremely nice person, very energetic, and very concerned about the constituents all over her district. I can't say enough good things about her. But I'm going to getting back to Palmetto Bay.
Okay.
I've never understood this, why when we incorporated, we didn't include the west side of US 1 up to the bus lanes in our boundaries, because there's a tremendous amount of tax dollars there that we're losing. And we would control the zoning. When Cutler Bay incorporated, they did include that into their boundaries for their village. They're getting the benefit of it, and they're controlling the zoning over there. We've lost millions and millions of dollars over the years of tax dollars from that area. Now, early on, previously, Gene was trying to, or when he was mayor, there was a movement underfoot to put it on the ballot to annex it. Now, annexation doesn't happen overnight. It's a process, and it takes years.
2 votes, by the way.
And some people worked against it, and they talked about the crime. I talked to people about it, and they said, oh, we don't want the West Perrine crime. We weren't annexing West Perrine. It was up to the east side of the bus lane. That was all. People were misinformed, misled about it. We never got to do it. But now, and recently, a while back, I had asked Patrick Fiore to sponsor a resolution to get it on the November ballot that let the people vote on annexing that area. And the village had a meeting, and one of the council members voted against it, said that we five shouldn't be the ones to vote on it. It should be the people. Well, that's exactly what you were doing, was going to give us the opportunity to vote on it by putting it on the ballot.
Do you remember who said that?
Yeah, how do I say?
Okay.
But here's the thing.
Hey, this is gloves off, man. You can't withhold that information, because I actually don't know the answer.
Okay, my District 3 representative.
Okay, Marsha Matson, thank you.
So here's the deal. Had we annexed that land previously, we would control the zoning on it. Now with the RTZ coming down here, the county's going to control it. And even if we annex it now, it will be under the county's zoning rules and not ours. In other words, the 20-story building is going to be built. We can't stop them. If we had gone ahead and annexed it, we could stop it cap it at 5 stories. Now,
No, to even go further than that, because let me tax revenue. Okay, so homestead properties are. By the way, I got my tax bill and my taxes increased again this year.
Mine too.
Yours too. I wonder why. Homestead properties are capped at a 3% increase on the fair market value that they work the taxes on. On properties on commercial properties, there's I think the cap is at 10%, or if I'm correct. So I mean, we would have had a lot more revenue, right?
Yes.
And that area wouldn't have been that big of a deal to control as far as policing. We have plenty of police. 51% of our annual budget, or Palmetto Bay's annual budget, goes to police. It would have, if the net, when I looked at the numbers with Ed Silva, the net would have been a lot more money coming into Palmetto Bay.
Oh, absolutely.
So I don't necessarily understand why we didn't go through the process and let the voters decide whether we should annex it or not. And the annexation is a really difficult. It's a difficult calculation, and it has to be, I think, 60% of the majority of the people that vote have to vote for annexation. If I'm correct, I'll have to go back and look at that. But I mean, they should have sat there and said, okay, we'll leave it up to the voters, instead of completely just saying, no, we don't want to discuss that topic.
Yeah, we lost big on this. I mean, we lost big for years and years, and I don't know that we would ever be able to annex it, because the county may not allow us, even if we vote for it. So
correct.
That was a big plum that got away from us, and I think it happened because a lot of people were very selfish on it. Some people owned property over there; they were against it. They didn't want to pay higher taxes. They didn't want to come under our jurisdiction for zoning, because they could make more money selling the property. Somebody wants to build a 20-story building, and somebody that's restricted to 5 stories. But we're hurt now, and we missed a tremendous opportunity that would have helped our village residents with their tax bills would have been lower. We would have had plenty of money for.
No, I think the net would not have put us in the red. The net would have put us in the black and given us more money to waste on PR.
Yeah, that's a tragedy that I don't know that we can correct it or come back from it. Now, one thing I wanted to talk about today, I want to talk about the bridge support group. This goes back, that people have been fighting for that bridge for 40 years. And Bill Kessel, one of his neighbors, before the guy died, he gave Bill all the information he had on it. And
Bill Kessel is a Palmetto Bay resident.
Yes, he lives on
District 2.
He lives on the bridge bypass road.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
he gets all the traffic.
Let's just call it. We don't want to tell anybody where Bill lives, but he lives in District 2.
Before I met him, I heard him complaining about the traffic on his street, and I said, it can't be that bad. And I went over there one night and I said, oh man, this is worse than I thought, worse than what he said. But I want to talk. Bill was, I guess you could call Bill, he was a tip of the spear for this, because he had the information, the drive, the determination to push this thing forward, and he's the one that really got out there and started it. And he would stand out there on the corner at the traffic circle and hand out flyers to people, and I'm looking at, oh man, this ain't going very far, I can't. But as I see, Bill was, like I said, he was the one. He was our leader, and he stood out there in front and he led us, and we followed him. A good leader is out in front. They're not back in the pack with their finger in the air, checking which way the wind's blowing or seeing what the herds running before they commit. Bill was out there, and we were there to follow him here. Now, this was, in the beginning, we were kind of meandering around. We weren't cohesive. We didn't have the group together. And then Bill was doing his thing. And then we had this traffic issue in Malbrook. And so this one of our neighbors, one of this lady, Ilea Frost-Hotner, she decided she would have a meeting at her house on a Saturday afternoon to discuss the traffic issues in Malbrook. And she went around, handed out flyers all over the neighborhood. Her and another lady, I think it was, might have been Mary Ann Hinkley. Anyway, we went over there and to their house, and I was really impressed with what I saw. She had everything set up. Well, she's a school teacher, so she's so organized, and she's young. She had everything done. She had on a fence there, she had these big poster boards with questions and answers, and asking people to answer. And then we had chairs set up, and we had a meeting. And Flynn was there. He was the mayor. Larissa Siglara was there. She was District 3 representative. Karyn Cunningham was there. She was District 1 rep. We had this meeting. Everything was going good. And in the meeting, we broke up to talk and discuss. And then a few people got a little heated and what have you. And I had to step between Larissa and some guy for a minute to calm them down. And the next thing I know, the police are showing up, and Ed Silva's showing up. He was village manager. We didn't need all that, but everything was fine. But this meeting that Leah Frost-Hopner had turned out to be the linchpin moment of our movement that brought us together, brought all the parties together. After that meeting, I probably attended 6 or 8 more meetings in the neighborhood that people had. There were small meetings, 6 to 8 people at their house, but this brought the people together, and we started being more cohesive, more unified, and our movement started moving forward. Her meeting was back in May of 2016 at her house. Now, what ended up happening was we had to build a 3-legged stool. Bill Kessel was leg number 1. Leah Frost-Hopner, she was leg number 2. Originally, we thought leg number 3 was our commissioner then, Commissioner Cava. But at the end, she went anti-bridge on it. So we were set back for a while. Our 3-legged stool only had 2 legs for a while. It was a little wobbly. So then then Commissioner Higgins came along, and she was right out of the box. She was very bold, and she went pro-bridge, and everybody was shocked, and we were shocked, and we were happy. And in the end, Commissioner Higgins became our 3rd leg of the 3-legged stool.
By the way, Commissioner Higgins will be on my program either next Thursday or the Thursday after, and we're going to talk about like what her plans are for the next 4 years, to let everybody know.
So once we got this 3-legged stool steadied up, it gave a platform for other people to key in onto, and Michelle Craven and her family, they were just super out there fighting for our bridge and everything, and other issues. Madeline Roman, she put her time in the trenches out there. She was out at the corner. She was knocking on doors. We had Mariana Hinckley and George and Anna Cocorales.
Yeah, I remember having a meeting at their house.
Yes,
yeah,
we had several meetings at George's. Mary Days, her sister Judith Freeby Johnson, they were there. Kevin Wilkie. There were others. Those are names that come to mind right off the bat that were putting in the time and the effort to do this. And it was important. And we went to meetings downtown. We got to speak sometimes. And eventually this.
But the issue was that you were fighting Palmetto Bay
right
Village. They say you can't fight City Hall, but you were fighting City Hall, basically.
What's funny is when I was running for District 3 council seat back in 2018, and I even campaigned in the 87th Avenue corridor north of the bridge site. And I talked to people. I told them, I said, listen, everybody was saying, oh, he's for the bridge. Don't vote for him. I couldn't build a bridge as a council member. I'm only 1 vote. But the fact that I told people, I quoted the county charter. Mm-hmm. Anyway, long story short, it was a blessing in disguise that I didn't get elected, because that left me free as Joe Free citizen to go and do work behind the scenes. And I met with mayors, and I went to this meeting and that meeting. And I got the word out, and I pushed hard and I worked hard. And I couldn't have done that if I was a council member. I wouldn't have been able to meet these people. I wouldn't have been able to do that. So it was really helped me and helped our movement to move forward. And it's like I said, it was a blessing. Now, one of the things that really put us on the map was when Karyn had her first, Mayor Cunningham had her first State of the Union message at the Lotta. We had a
protest,
a big protest there.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of people showed up, and we had signs. And I think somebody told me that Kevin it was his idea to suggest it. We put it all together, and I helped build the signs and what have you. But that was a big embarrassment for her, because
I think that's probably the first protest ever at I know it's the first protest ever at a State of the Union, we call State of the Village.
Yes.
Okay. In Palmetto Bay. And it's probably the first in South Florida for a municipality to have people picketing the mayor okay, picketing the mayor at any municipality in Dade County, because
Yes.
I've never seen that before. And it was actually, I think it was actually on the news. So it had to be a huge embarrassment for her. And it basically showed her that there's a large amount of people that don't like the way she's running the village.
Correct.
Okay, and it's continued on to today.
There's a lot of dignitaries
Yeah.
that pulled up in there.
That's right.
There was probably state, federal elected
Mhm.
people, and
It was definitely
local,
embarrassment.
and they saw this and they're like, "What's happening here?" So anyway, that was the bridge. How we came to become a cohesive unit for pushing this forward, and
So wait, are we done with the bridge? Because I want to take some of the questions. There are a lot of questions.
Sure, go
on that.
ahead.
Okay, can
Yeah.
you roll that? Can you, my friend?
can you see that?
Yeah, I can see it. I can read them off to you. Okay, so does Bob need a good accident attorney? No, he'd be suing his own. He'd be suing his own homeowner's insurance. So yeah, probably not. Now, if he says he slipped and fell at my house, it would be a completely different thing. And if he's willing to split the money, then I could probably think about it. Okay, what's up, guys? Hey, Renee, when are you going to be on my show, Renee? We need to finish the traffic grid. This will not destroy the neighborhoods. Absolutely, 100%. So Stacy and her crew can suck an egg. No idea where that's coming from, but we don't talk about crazy Stacy on the show, okay? And she is crazy. Black Point is awesome. Love the restaurant there too. One of my favorite restaurants. ASA boat trailer renter delivers boat to marinas. Yeah, but if you can't get into the marina, what good is that going to do? I mean, you know, they shut these marinas down by 8:30 sometimes on the weekends. It's crazy that all these people have boats. I know boaters like to go out early in the morning, but seriously, 8:30 in the morning is a little early to be out there. What's RTZ? It's basically, you want to take that one?
RTZ, rapid transit zone.
It's a half a mile off the rapid transit zone where they want to change the zoning so to build higher apartments or condos or
I don't
whatever.
understand how they can go into an area like we have, which is residential neighborhood, and change the zoning to a high rise. I don't believe they can do that.
Well, they've done it up and down. They've done it in Coral Gables. They've done it in South Miami. So
They haven't gone
Listen,
into-
it's government. Don't you know by now? And government can do anything they want. They don't follow any rules. Screw that. Make nice. Okay. DCH is no longer the appointed commissioner. That's 100%. She is now the elected. And anybody ever says that she's appointed again, I'll probably end up back in police custody. CB is the best town in South Dade. Listen, I can't sing Cutler Bay's praises enough. They've always had they have a very good. The mayor's great, Tim is great, and the rest of the council's great. I actually just spent some time with them the other day. Boaters don't deserve more marinas or parking spaces with all the litter or trash they throw out in our bay, leave on the islands, our overflowing trash cans. Where are the efforts to educate boaters? Don't trash our treasure. Yeah, but you can't blame all the boaters on one asshole. Okay, and I can say that because it's my show that throws trash out in the water, and I'm sure it's not one asshole. It's probably 5% of the assholes or 10% of the assholes. There's one guy that's very vocal in Palmetto Bay, and he's a big Karyn Cunningham supporter, and he's been given 3 tickets for speeding in manatee zones. And I'm not going to mention his name. I'm not going to mention his name unless you pay me. So if you guys want to send me some money, next week's show, I'll mention his name. But put it this way, he's very, very conservative. Okay. And his boat has a what Confederate flag. His boat has a Confederate flag, and I got a picture of it. Okay. But he still got 3 tickets in manatee zones. What's this? Is that how you hurt your neck? I have no, I don't know when am I going to get your show? LOL. Renee, I just invited you on the show. Does he need a brisket? What is that? A brisket?
Brisket's a piece of meat.
Oh, I know what a brisket is. I'm just wondering. Pink Floyd BBQ truck will be at Peterson, Harley Davidson all weekend, long Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. By the way, I still think Pink Floyd has the best barbecue in town. I'll zell you.
This guy's advertising on your show.
No, it's okay. It's okay. Listen, I got to tell you something. If you guys want a sponsor, can we pull up our sponsor for a second? Can we hit the sponsor? Today's sponsor. Gloves off. Wait, you gotta show it better. Please, that's not, come on, today's
Gloves off.
Gloves off. Karyn Cunningham's our sponsor this week. But if you want to sponsor our show, I'm more than happy to talk to you anytime you want. We need other sponsors besides Karyn Cunningham. I think she's probably getting tired of saying gloves off with David Singer. We'll give you ribs. Listen, I don't need free ribs from Pink Floyd. Pig Floyd. Pig Floyd's great. I love their barbecue. I really miss their restaurant. I used to go there all the time off 168th Street. Once again, Palmetto Bay screwing over the small business owner. But that's a completely different story. Okay, let's go to First Amendment.
Okay, back in, I think May 2nd meeting.
Sorry, I'm distracting him with all my.
I got an email from one of our neighbors in Malbrook, Heather Keenan. She had written an email to the council, to be read in at a meeting.
Okay, so let's back that up and let's tell the story. So wait, but the deal is you can either walk up to the microphone. You have 3 minutes, okay, to give your opinion.
Correct.
Or your piece, okay, or due to COVID, and I don't think it might be a COVID rule or it might not be. Excuse me, everyone. You can send an email in, and they're responsible. This village clerk is responsible to read your email. Okay,
correct.
Go ahead.
So anyway, first off, I'm not a supporter of Marsha Matson. I ran against her. I lost. But however, I do respect her right to have to be able to speak at a meeting and her right to exercise her privileges as a council member. And this is what happened. I didn't see that one of these meetings that was brought to me by Heather, that at this one meeting it happened, I guess it happened in April, where I guess Leanne attacked Marsha. So, and I've spoken to other people, other council members around.
By the way, I think
area.
we have a clip of that.
Yeah, around the area, and they're appalled at the behavior of our council members in public against another council member. They said this is verboten. That should never happen. Now, this email that was read at the council meeting in May, while Missy was reading, the village clerk was reading it in, Karyn Cunningham told her to stop reading it because she was objecting to it. But the village attorney stepped in and he said, no, let her finish reading it into the record. Now, for those of you that didn't see the meeting,
I actually have the video. If our friends are watching, can I wonder, was the video from what I understand from Gina, the video was loaded.
I believe it must be.
Okay.
Heather Keenan, 8460 Southwest 181st Street, Palmetto Bay. During the Committee of the Whole meeting on April 19th, Vice Mayor Leanne Tellum was inexplicably and repeatedly disrespectful to Councilmember Marsha Matson. As village officials, it is your commitment to maintain civility during discussions, even if there is a disagreement with the council members, mayor or vice mayor. The manner in how the vice mayor responded to Councilmember Matson was rude and disrespectful. Regardless of her personal opinion of Ms. Matson, exchanges between council
Madam Clerk, I'm going to ask you to stop for a moment. Mr. Attorney, could I get a parliamentarian on the, we don't normally call out names.
The comments of the author of that letter does have the right to speak.
I just wanted to check. Thank you.
Right.
Please continue.
Regardless of personal opinion of Ms. Matson, exchanges between council should be done with respect. The vice mayor should consider the complete unnecessary discord this portrayed, an attitude and manner of response paints the entire council in a disrespectful light. Then, upon the announcement that was it by 10 p.m., the clerk, Ms. Yarocha, Mayor Karyn Cunningham attempted to immediately wrap up the meeting while Councilmember Matson was still speaking. This maneuver was reinforcing the horrible attitude of the vice mayor which was unnecessary and can only attribute to the mayor's unequal treatment of some council members. To be overly concerned that it was 10 p.m. could not be attributed to being disrespectful of everyone's time, since there was no consideration when the meeting started several minutes past 7 p.m. That was the end of Ms. Keenan's public comments submitted by form. No other comments are available at this time by form.
Okay, so number one is, in case you guys don't understand that, they shut Marsha Matson down when she has a right to speak because she's a council member. Okay, I don't need to agree with Marsha Matson or a lot of the things she does, but she shouldn't be shut down. Number two is Leanne, the Vice Mayor Leanne, is probably the nastiest human being I've ever met in my entire life, and she's definitely the nastiest council member we've ever had. Okay, on the council in Palmetto Bay history. She shouldn't be on there. She got elected because she's Karyn's BFF, and that's how she was voted in. But she doesn't listen. She does not listen to any of the residents. She rolls her eyes when they come up to speak to her. She's 100% in Karyn's pocket, okay, and votes exactly how Karyn does. Okay, so it was just a bad scene all the way around. I didn't tackle it when it happened, but there should be no disrespect between council members. And number one, and number two is if a resident is writing an email to express their displeasure, okay, in what went down and what happened, there's no reason in the world that the mayor should have stopped Missy from reading the comments, because I bet you if the comments had something like, said something nice about Leanne or something nice about Karyn, she would have never stepped in to stop it. Okay, so she just stopped it because she was trying to protect her best friend, but that's what Karyn does. Okay, continue. Sorry.
Well, on that same plane of thought, a young man, I believe his name Mark Merwitzer, was up there recently speaking, and he had to chastise the council because as he was speaking, they were playing with their phones and looking at Facebook or texting or do whatever. And that's so disrespectful when somebody takes time out to come to a meeting to try to make their village better, to make suggestions, and have the village council totally disrespectful by not listening and paying attention to what the people have to say. That is another
They won't
sore
even look
spot
at you.
with
By the way,
me.
they won't even look you in the eye. Okay, so when I was up there, whether you sat there and you criticized me or whether you sat there and you came up and gave me compliments, I always looked at people in the eye. I never sat down and looked at my phone. I never sat down and played, whatever with on a pad of paper. I was basically, I wanted to listen. I wanted to listen to what the village residents had to say. Now, the fact of the matter is, if you're elected to sit there. The most important part, as far as I'm concerned, is to sit there and listen to what the village residents have to say when they step up to the microphone.
Correct.
If you don't want to do that, then you should not be on the council.
Exactly.
Okay, because going up on the council, okay, is not for a paycheck. Okay, going up and running for council is not for health insurance coverage. It's not for a 401k. You're there to represent the village residents. Nobody up there right now, and I gotta honestly tell you, Patrick's as bad as anybody else right now. They don't pay attention to the residents. They don't listen to residents' opinions. What they think, they think what they're up there, they got elected and they're God now. Okay, and that's not the right way to sit there and be an elected official, because you're not God. You're there to represent the residents. The village attorney is there to represent the village residents' best interest, and the city manager or the village manager is there to represent the village residents. That's why you're elected, not to sit there and play God and think you know everything about everything. One other thing, and I'll let you get back into this. Karyn Cunningham, if anybody has written anything that in negative light on Karyn Cunningham's Facebook page, I know she's blocked me. Okay. So, I mean, and by the way, that's highly illegal, and Trump was sued for that. And he lost in court. So they're not allowed on their Facebook page or any other internet, whatever blog or whatever they're to sit there and block you if they're talking about village business. And I've already threatened litigation, which everybody knows I love litigation and I have no problem with suing anybody if they do that. So just to let you know, if you're blocked, okay, if you're blocked by any sitting representative of Palmetto Bay Council, I know there are plenty of attorneys that will take the case. I've already sued Karyn Cunningham and won once. Okay, I have no problem doing it again. You want to throw up the questions, and I'll let you go at it without interrupting you.
I don't have any.
No. Go ahead.
Oh, well,
Ira Cohen. She is nasty to me also. Well, she's nasty to everybody. So join the club. Go ahead.
oh, well, anyway, I was,
Okay,
there's
sorry.
one other issue I want to get
Okay.
out there to the people is FEMA has a new flood map out. And it's all around. I looked at one all over Dade County and I zeroed in on Palmetto Bay, and there's a lot of changes in our area where people who now have to pay flood insurance. When the village adopts this new flood map, a lot of people like myself aren't going to have to pay that $3,000 or $4,000 a year every year for flood insurance because they went back, redid it, and found out, oh, these areas aren't going to flood. So my question is, why hasn't the council expedited this issue? Why haven't they been talking about this flood map, and why haven't they been discussing it with the neighbors? And
I think Cutler Bay has done it and significantly reduced
well, they have a floodplain thing.
right? And they've significantly reduced the cost of flood insurance because of the floodplain.
Right.
In
Well,
Cutler Bay.
this new flood
Yeah.
map will eliminate
Mhm.
the flood insurance that you're required to have if you have a mortgage on your home. And some people would be able to carry like a minimum of $500 coverage or something. But I mean, this $3,000 or $4,000 a year, but we're not going to flood, is a waste of time and money. But
So what you're saying is that that's one of the things that they should focus on instead of like
exactly.
PR or selfies.
Now,
Told you I was gonna be catty.
Correct. You had Cutler Bay has a rating of 5
Yeah.
for their flood issues down there, and it saves their people about 15% off their flood policy.
Which is a big.
We
it's a
have
huge,
an 8.
huge.
We
huge
have an 8.
significant
That's
savings.
not good. But we used to have a floodplain manager. He was the only one that passed the test to get the qualifications. His name was Ed Silva. He's not with the village anymore because
He was forced
Karyn
out.
didn't like him.
Yeah.
But Ed was a good man, and I can't say enough about him.
I don't know about being a good man, but he's good at what he
He's
does.
okay.
Anyway, Ed's on program all the time. So if he's watching this, Ed, I don't know if you're a good man, but you are pretty smart.
I want to say this. When Ed first got to be the village manager, shortly thereafter, I was at a meeting one night, and he said, "Hey, I want to talk to you." So he came to me, and we had this issue on my street that a stop sign had been installed and removed and everything, and we had speeding on our street. And he says, "I want to help you on your street." And we discussed a bunch of different issues of what could have been done. Like in front of my house, we talked about a T intersection realignment, which is a little bubble comes out from in front of my house, slows cars down. We do it down the street at another intersection, and you wouldn't have the speed humps that we have. And I want to say Ed was the only one. Him and Greg Truitt was reached out to me too. Those were two good people with the village that wanted to do good, and I have to speak out for both of them.
By the way, do me a favor. You know, usually what I like to do is when somebody comes on and new, and you're apparently new to the program, is give everybody a little bit of your history, because I think that's pretty impressive too. Your history in the fire department.
32 years on the City of Miami Fire Department. I could drive just about every vehicle they had except the one truck they had downtown at one time was a 150-foot aerial down there. I wasn't qualified on that. And I rode it one time. I wasn't happy with it. It wasn't as stable as I liked. But I had a great time on the fire department. Met a lot of good friends, lifelong friends. We went in harm's way a few times, more than once. And
But you were a public servant for a long time.
If I had to do it
you
over
sat
again,
there, you devoted your life to helping people.
right.
So you're not some crackpot that I just brought out of a closet somewhere to come on my program and give opinions. You have a long and valid history, okay, of helping society, okay, and helping your fellow neighbor. And I'm sure you've risked your life numerous times in the 30 years or 30 plus years that you worked for the City of Miami.
Years ago, they were going to shut down our neighborhood trash stations because a developer wanted to build some houses next to one. And I went down to a commission meeting, this was back in the 80s, and I spoke about it. And they were saying, oh, the solid waste department's losing money. We got to do this. And they were going to start having trucks come through the neighborhood picking up trash in front of your house. And I thought that was a terrible idea. And I went down and fought for it. And I was able to stop them from closing all of them. The only one they ended up closing was the one where the developer wanted to build, and there's a house sitting on that property now. So,
but you're highly regarded, because I've seen politicians who know you, okay, very well, and you're very highly regarded, and you're extremely intelligent, And like I said, you're devoted the majority of your life to helping citizens and residents or whatever.
Yes, I got one night.
I mean, not to sing your praises, but I'll do it anyway.
One night at a council meeting, I was
Yeah.
one of the council members said, "You're an activist, aren't you?" And I say, "I think I wear that badge proudly."
I think you have a right to.
Yeah.
Oh, he is risky. What is this? Okay, so Ed, of course, is watching the program as he always does because he can't. He's not working on my plans that he's supposed to be working on, but he says he's risking it by being on your podcast. I don't know if this is a podcast, if it's on video. Ed, is there a definition of a podcast on a? Because we video. Anyway, I appreciate you coming out here. You are invited anytime you want
Thank you very
to
much.
discuss any subject you want. I hope your neck gets better.
I do. It will.
I hope next time I see you, you don't have a brace on.
A couple more weeks, and it'll
and-
come off.
And his wife is actually sitting out watching the program in the bunker. We're in the bunker, and I made them give the Boy Scout. I don't know what the Boy Scout is, but the Boy Scout pledge to.
We won't tell where it is.
Yeah, we won't tell where
We're
it is. I
sworn
made
to
them together.
secrecy.
We're sworn to secrecy. But the bunker. By the way, the bunker is not in my office. Okay. Rumor has it that the bunker's not in my office.
I
It's
can
not in
tell
my
you it's
office.
not.
It's not in my office. Okay. But I really appreciate you coming out. I got about 14 minutes to go over.
Well, thank you very much.
Something
for
that you
having
do
me.
not want to listen to.
I
He's too nice of
appreciate
a
it.
guy. I'm
And-
going to like drag him in the mud.
I'll hit the bricks.
There you go. The bunker. I can't tell you where the bunker is. That's why it's called the bunker.
Thank you very much. It was a
As
pleasure.
a matter of fact, don't you remember me blindfolding you and leading you into the area? I mean, I was like, it's like a CIA, they put a hood over your head and anyway.
Sort of. And where are the?
No, you guys can stay. I just didn't think he wanted, I get a little, this might not, this isn't up his, this isn't his alley. Okay. Remind me, okay, you can go. I'll pay you back for the validation later. Thanks guys. Appreciate it. Okay. So I got about 10 minutes left to talk, No, I didn't cut him off. He's leaving. I'm still on.
Okay. I'll go home.
Nice seeing you guys.
All right, you too.
Be safe. So an update on my friend Steve Cody. So anyway, Steve Cody's been fighting this. There's Steve. He's been fighting his foreclosure for 8 years, 9 years. Okay, it got turned down. Not his foreclosure, but his foreclosure went through trial about 6 months. I think it was in October. So what are we, like 9 months ago? I guess it was nine months ago. And he decided to appeal his foreclosure. So this is 8 years of him abusing the system. Typical of Steve Cody, abusing the system. The guy's an oil snake salesman from the word go. He just got, can you pop it up? One of them in there is, there we go. So, okay, I'll read this to you. Upon the court's own motion, it is ordered that the appeal, I can't read that. Okay, I'll read it on here. It is ordered that the appeal from the Circuit Court for Miami-Dade County, Florida, is dismissed for failure to comply with the court's order dated August 11, 2022, with the Florida Rules Appellate Procedure. Okay, so over, I guess, maybe a month ago, they gave Steve Cody 10 days to respond to the appeal. He never filed the appropriate paperwork. And by the way, Steve Cody is not a disbarred. I guess maybe it is disbarred now, but a suspended attorney. He got suspended for something to do with checks. I don't remember what it was. I don't know if he bounced checks or didn't pay checks or some crap like that. But the fact of the matter, I may be wrong on that. He was disbarred or suspended. Okay. You think the attorney, you think being an attorney, and by the way, he constantly tries to put himself out as an attorney. And every time he talks on the microphone at a council meeting, he pretends he's still an attorney, which of course, everybody knows he's not. So it's a big joke. Steve has great man boobs. That's pretty funny. Anyway, I don't want to talk about somebody's physical appearance, especially guys. So anyway, so he was supposed to file some paperwork with the appellate court. He didn't file it, so they dismissed it. So the fact of the matter is it's all set for him to lose his home and I guess be kicked out of Palmetto Bay unless he finds someplace else to live in the district he represents, which is District 2. So the guy honestly was and how he got elected, okay, was with the help of our lovely mayor, Karyn Cunningham, because she pushed him on everybody instead of me because I didn't disagree. I didn't agree with her 100% of the time. And she once told me, if you're not going to agree with me all the time, then I'm going to find somebody to fill your seat. So she basically found somebody to run against me. I lost. I'm a better person for it. He was also supported by Bev Gerald, who thinks she's an attorney, and she's not. There's 3 people in Palmetto Bay that are destroying Palmetto Bay that are not the council. Okay, it's Bev Gerald, Shelley Stanzik, and Gary Pastorelli. These are the 3 people who constantly don't tell the truth and spin everything. I had I'm sorry, I'm looking at the wrong camera. I had a video of Gary Pastorelli last week saying that he puts out fake news. They all put out fake news. Bev needs to go and live up in, what's that place in Ocala?
Oh,
What's the name of that retirement community?
yeah.
Okay, these are
I
3
know.
people that should not be that should not be listened to in Palmetto Bay. Bev's a disaster. Shelley's definitely a disaster, and so is Gary. Okay, so if you get their emails or you get emails from Gary, it's written by Shelley and whatever. Just know that these are the people that help put this loser in the council seat, District 2 council seat. And everybody could say, oh, it's just bad blood. Listen, I'm happy not being on the council. The Villages, thank you, Kathy. No, I don't know if anybody's called DeSantis on Steve. So anyway, so my point being is you have these people plus Karyn Cunningham who helped Steve Cody get elected. He owes the Village of Palmetto. He's collecting a salary from the Village of Palmetto Bay. At the same time, he owes Palmetto Bay $5,000. Okay. And he also, his house is in foreclosure. He's raising your taxes while his house is in foreclosure, and he hasn't paid any taxes in 8 years. And he hasn't paid any insurance in 8 years. The guy abuses the system. So, if you want to reelect Karyn, I just want you guys to realize the damage that she has done to the Village of Palmetto Bay. Is she a nice person? Does she take selfies? Well, she definitely takes selfies. Is she a nice person? You can ask other people. I mean, I have a strong opinion that she's not a nice person because of what she's done in Palmetto Bay. We need to correct this and move forward. We need to get Gene Flynn in office. We need to get Karyn Cunningham out of there. We need to get Patrick out of there. Marsha Matson, it's a flip of the coin. I mean, if you like Marsha, that's fine. Vote for her. If you don't like her, don't vote for her. I don't have an opinion either way on Marsha Matson. But we need new blood on the council, people that actually want to do the job that the residents deserve in Palmetto Bay. And right now, all they're focused on is PR and selfies, or that's basically what Karyn Cunningham's concerned about. Taking as many pictures as humanly possible, because you'll see it every day on Facebook and every day on Instagram. All she wants to do is take pictures. She has no stance for anything. She stands for nothing. Okay. And you don't need a politician that stands for nothing. What you need to do, okay, is vote for people, okay, who want to move the city forward. She has not moved the city forward one bit. In fact, she's moved the city backwards. We cannot let her win again in November. It will destroy Palmetto Bay. Look at your tax bill, okay? And your taxes should have gone down this year, and instead they went up. So that is an issue with Palmetto Bay. The money in Palmetto Bay right now, the budget, the money, they're wasting the money. They're wasting it on PR. They're wasting it on doing things that should not be done. I went to Car Reef Park yesterday. Walk Car Reef Park. There's no grass there. All it is weeds. I'll show all those pictures next week. Car Reef Park is nothing but weeds. It's not being maintained properly, and that's a premier park in South Florida. It's disgusting. I walked in the bathrooms. The bathrooms were disgusting. The paint's peeling off the kids, where the kids play. If you look around, look at all the paint peeling. Parks are one of the 3 most important things in Palmetto Bay. Parks, police, okay, and infrastructure, roads. And those 3 items are not being taken care of. So when you before you go out and vote, you need to walk Car Reef Park, okay? Look at what Car Reef Park looks like and tell me that that's being maintained as an A-class park facility, because it's not. If I was going to my job is to walk properties and look at properties and make sure they're maintained well. One of my responsibilities, look at Car Reef Park and tell me that park is being maintained there. And for all we know, okay, I'll do this for you, Scoletti. Next person you see living in a park will probably be Steve Cody under a tree. Okay. We got a trailer there, so maybe he can, that isn't District 2, so he'd be okay, right? He could live underneath the tree there. Anyway, so I'm telling you right now, you guys got to spread the word. We got to get Karyn out of Palmetto Bay. Not physically, but you know what I mean, off the council. A matter of fact, next week, I'll have signs that I'm giving away for anybody who wants to put them in their yard. And if you turn in your Karyn Cunningham sign and put my sign in your yard, I'll give you $50 for every sign you give me. Somebody told me, put your money where your mouth is. So my money where my mouth is if you turn in a Karyn Cunningham sign to me, if it's in your yard and you're the owner of the house that it's there, because I don't want people stealing signs. If you turn in your Karyn Cunningham sign and you put my sign in your yard, not my sign personally, but a sign about Palmetto Bay, okay, I will give you $50 in cash, okay? But don't steal signs, okay? Nobody should steal signs. So you trade in 2 signs that are in your corner house and you put in my 2 signs, I will give you $50 and I'll bring my signs next week and I'll show you what my signs say. And I think that's it. I think we've had fun. I'm thankful that Bob came by because today was just going to be all me. Next week, we should have Danielle Cohen-Higgins on the program. We'll have a good time with her, and everybody stay safe, stay happy, and we'll see you next week. Thank you.